This is a story about a hairstylist that always hides her mirror. Kindly watch to the end to find out why she hides her mirror. In a small village nestled between the lush green hills of West Africa, there was a woman known by all yet understood by none. Her name was Adesuwa, a hairstylist whose talent with a comb and scissors was unmatched. People from neighboring villages would travel miles just to have her hands weave magic into their hair. But there was something strange, something that no one could quite explain. Adesuwa never allowed her clients to use a mirror. Her salon was humble, a small mud with walls adorned by intricate African patterns, a single window that let in just enough light, and a large wooden chair at the center where her clients would sit. Despite the salon's simplicity, the aura around it was mysterious, almost foreboding. The only mirror in the salon was an antique one, veiled with a deep crimson cloth, hanging in the far corner of the room. It was large, almost the height of a man, with a gold-framed border that had seen better days. Yet no one ever saw their reflection in it, for Adesuwa never unveiled it. People whispered about Adesuwa's strange habits, but they couldn't deny her skill. Each client left her salon looking more beautiful than they could have ever imagined. Their hair was always styled perfectly, intricate beads, twisted knots, and flawless pattern that seemed almost otherworldly. But even after hours in their chair, not one person had ever seen the final result until they got home. This odd practice bettered many stories. Some said Adesuwa was bewitched, that she had made a pact with the spirit to gain her extraordinary talent. Others believed she was hiding something dark, something that would be revealed if one ever dared to look into that covered mirror. One day, a young woman named Kemi arrived in the village. She was a spirited girl, curious and bold, and she had heard tales of Adesuwa's magical hands. She was in need of a change, a fresh start, and she believed that a new hairstylist would be just the beginning. With a spring in her step, Kemi walked into Adesuwa's salon. Adesuwa, as always, greeted her warmly. Her voice was soft, almost musical, and her eyes held a wisdom that seemed far beyond her years. "Sit, my dear," she said, gesturing to the large wooden chair. "I will make you more beautiful than you can imagine." Kemi sat down, her heart beating with excitement. She watched as Adesuwa began her work, her fingers moving swiftly, with a precision that was almost hypnotic. Hours passed, but Kemi didn't mind. She was entranced by the way Adesuwa's hands moved, as if they were dancing to a rhythm only she could hear. But as the day wore on, Kemi's curiosity grew. She had heard the stories and she wanted to know why the mirror was covered. She needed to see her reflection before she left. When Adesuwa finally finished, Kemi couldn't hold back any longer. "Adesuwa," she said cautiously, "why don't you let your clients see the mirror? Don't you want us to admire your work?" Adesuwa's hands froze mid-motion, and the room grew eerily silent. The warm smile that had been on her face all day slowly faded, replaced by a look of deep sorrow. She turned away from Kemi, her shoulders slumping as if weighed down by an invisible burden. "I do it to protect you," Adesuwa whispered, her voice barely audible. "The mirror, it shows more than just your reflection. It reveals truths that are better left unseen." Kemi felt a shiver run down her spine, but her curiosity only deepened. "What do you mean? What truths?" Adesuwa sighed deeply and turned to face Kemi. Many years ago, she began, her voice trembling slightly. I was not just a hairstylist. I was known as the keeper of the mirror. This mirror, she pointed to covered objects in the corner, is no ordinary mirror. It was passed down through generations of my family. It holds a power, a curse, some might say. It shows the true essence of a person, not just their physical appearance, but their soul, their deepest fears, desires, and the darkness they carry within. Kemi's eyes widened, her breath catching in her throat. Adesuwa continued, When I was younger, I was reckless. I thought I could handle the mirror's power. I allowed people to look into it, to see themselves as they truly were. But the truth is not always beautiful, Kemi. The mirror began to reveal things, horrible things. It shows the darkness that people try to hide, even from themselves. It drove some to madness, others to despair. One man even tried to end his own life after seeing what the mirror showed him. Adesuwa paused, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. I couldn't bear the pain I was causing. I couldn't stand to see the terror in people's eyes when they looked into that cursed mirror, so I covered it, vowing never to let anyone look into it again. I realized that sometimes it's better not to know the truth, to live without seeing the darkness within. Kemi was speechless. She looked at the covered mirror, a chill gripping up her spine. She couldn't imagine what it would show her if she dared to look. But a part of her still wanted to know, to see herself as she truly was. Adesuwa, Kemi said softly, May I see? Adesuwa's eyes widened in shock. No, Kemi, I can't let you. It's too dangerous. But Kemi was determined. Please, Adesuwa, I need to know. I'm not afraid. Adesuwa hesitated, torn between protecting Kemi and respecting her wishes. Finally, a heavy heart, she nodded. Very well, but I must warn you. Kemi, once you see, you cannot unsee. The truth will stay with you forever. With trembling hands, Adesuwa slowly lifted the crimson clothes, revealing the mirror beneath. The air in the room seemed to grow colder, the light dimmer. As the mirror came into view, Kemi stared at it, her reflection slowly coming into focus. At first, she saw nothing unusual, just her own face staring back at her. But then the image began to change. Her eyes darkened, shadows forming under them. Her smile twisted into a sinister grin, and her skin took on a sickly pale hue. Kemi felt her heart race, fear gripping her as she watched her reflection morph into something terrifying, something she didn't recognize. But it wasn't just her appearance that changed. She saw flashes of her past, memories she had buried deep within. She saw the people she had hurt, the lies she had told, the mistakes she had made. The mirror showed her the darkness she had always tried to deny, the guilt, the shame, the anger that festered inside her. It was overwhelming, unbearable. Kemi gasped, stepping back from the mirror, her hands shaking. What? What is this? She whispered, tears streaming down her face. This is your truth, Kemi, Adesuwa gently said, her voice filled with sorrow. This is what the mirror reveals, the darkness within us all. Kemi fell to her knees, sobbing. The weight of what she had seen was crushing, the truth too much to bear. But Adesuwa knelt beside her, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. It is not too late, Kemi, Adesuwa whispered. The mirror shows the darkness, but it also shows the way forward. It reveals what needs to change. You can still choose a different path. Kemi looked up at Adesuwa. Her eyes filled with a new resolve. How? How do I change? By facing the truth, Adesuwa said, and by making amends. By choosing to be better, to let go of the darkness and embrace the light. The mirror has shown you what lies within, but it is up to you to decide what you will do with that knowledge. Kemi nodded, determination shining in her eyes. She knew it wouldn't be easy, but she was ready to face her demons, to confront the darkness within her and find a way to change. As she left the salon, the weight on her shoulders felt a little lighter. The path ahead was uncertain, but she was no longer afraid. The mirror had shown her the truth, and now she had the power to change it. Adesuwa watched her go, a small smile playing on her lips. She knew that Kemi would be all right. The mirror had done its job. It had revealed the darkness, but it had also sparked a change. And in the end, that was all Adesuwa could hope for. She turned back to the mirror, covering it up once more with the crimson clothes. The salon grew warm again, the light returning to the room. The secret was safe for now, hidden behind the veil, waiting for the next soul brave enough to face the truth. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to our channel, like, share, and comment. We'll see you again on our next video. Bye.